Fuck it. Ace Attorney. So... I haven't played this in a bit. I had a detour into FF14 that lasted a long time. I did plan on playing this a bit more, but it just didn't turn out, unfortunately. And a few days ago, I remembered what was happening in this episode. And so this is where, unfortunately, I am going to be talking about the episode explicitly, because it has been a while and I need to refresh myself. So, final warning. I don't know if we can solve this case in a day. I don't think we can solve this trial in a day. Like, unless we're gonna have, like, an extended recess during the day, I feel like this is going to go badly. Very fucking badly. So I am nervous as fuck. Hey, Luca. Did you not hear me before? My mic... I am not muted, right? I did say hi before, but I wasn't sure if, No, my audio was jacked up. Oh, okay, no worries. I do really appreciate the raid, Luca. But, second Ace Attorney game, and I'm in the final case. Fair warning, potential big spoilers. Had my headphones plugged into my capture card and couldn't hear anything, lol. Oh, yeah, that'd do it. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I did spend like a minute going, oh god, raid, shit, So you didn't miss much. But yeah, I really appreciate the raid, and I guess a final warning. Big spoilers for Ace Attorney. Because I'm about to go explicitly into a trial. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to stick around personally since yeah, I figured that was the case. I've been having fun so far, but I feel like we're about to have a fucking bad time, which would match up with FF14, but I appreciate it. I hope you have a good day, Luca. Or good night. And good sleep. I forgot to say that last time and I regretted it. Anyway. We're gonna get started then. Boy, am I nervous. Oh, hey, Charles. Thanks for the follow. How's your phone? Yeah. Yeah. I got up to that. How was I not following? I feel like, to be fair, up until a couple of weeks ago, I really wasn't streaming all that much, so... And I also haven't linked my stream to, like, Discord or anything like that all that much, either. I usually do it when I, like, start a series and not much else. But, still, it's all good, and I appreciate the follow. Feels so bad now. Dude, don't worry about it. You're all good. You're all good. I don't, like, throw my content out as much as I probably should, to be honest. So, like, I only have myself to blame there. Funny voices ahead also, because I'm trying to distinguish the characters from one another. I almost completely forgot who this was. It's been like 2 weeks. I keep telling myself not to do this because I keep forgetting, like, important details of this case. Or cases when it happens. Exhibit A, it took me a second to be like, oh yeah, this is the person I'm defending. Right. I forgot about that. Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there is someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Hello, Mia. You must get a complete acquittal today. I know. I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. Oh, shit. It's him. This is right. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well... when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit... how shall we say... tired? Don't worry. People don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake, as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Excuse me? For my sake. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts. And even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. Wait. The kidnapper sent me a present. Mr. Lawyer Dude? Who is that? No one. It has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? I like how dim-witted as he is, he's like, no, dude. Like, no. You're a fucking liar. Is Francisca not here? What the hell?
Court is now in session for the trial of Matt on guard. Are the prosecution and defense ready?
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma?
I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor.
Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it?
Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. Was that the present? What? Shot? Somehow. I think this is the present that man was talking about. His present? Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. This is totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she alright?
I don't have that answer.
She's alive and in stable condition.
That's good. You're...
Oh. There he is. Your Honor. Due to the circumstances, Miss Francisca Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready. Naturally. Oh boy. Hey Zarboli, how's it going? Oh my god, I said Zarboli instead of how your name is actually spelled. Why do I keep doing that? It's so weird. Like, I've typed it in the way you actually type it, and then pronounce it in the way you actually spell it. Ugh. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder, and is currently undergoing surgery. Wow. Oh no, wait a minute. Von Karma was shot in the left. Von Karma Sr., rather. Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt on guard.
The court acknowledges the prosecution.
Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness,
Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand.
It's a fake alien name, so don't worry about it. Oh no, I realize that, but I just thought it was kind of funny that I keep pronouncing it the way you actually want it spelt, instead of the way you've spelt it on Twitch.
Witness, your name and occupation?
My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct, for now.
For now? After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir.
Detective Gumshoe?
The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that.
Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight. So, before we start this, there's something that's really odd about this now. In previous cases, Edgeworth has been, like, really set on proving the prosecution guilty. Oh, thanks for the follows up, Ollie. I really appreciate that. Sorry, I was trying to, like, process the thought at the same time. Edgeworth has been, like, portrayed, but when we face him in court, as someone who would get anything to get a guilty verdict. Like, do anything to get a guilty verdict. That is the name of the game. What he's talking about here, and what's been implied before, is that that is no longer his goal. And given the fact that we're being pressured to find On Guard not guilty, it again makes me question whether the goal is going to be proving On Guard is innocent. Because it feels like now it's been set up at both sides. And with a person who probably isn't just going for the guilty verdict because the guilty verdict is the goal, where does that leave us? I am going to be super curious how this case plays out.
Yeah, it would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent.
The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. Although, it would bear... if it did come to both sides coming together to prove what happened, it would follow a previous end case we've had.
This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes award ceremony, sir.
The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder.
After the awards ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room?
Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant went alone to their room, sir.
I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Alright, I'm gonna go through this once before we start pressing. Because I do need to remind myself a bit. This is what sucks about coming back to this for so long. All of the stuff would be fresh in my head if I hadn't taken, like, a break from this. And I'd be able to pick out what was off here. But I haven't. And that worries me. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes awards ceremony. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. What evidence do we have again? We got the conference ticket, we've got a picture of the nickel samurai, we've got the fact that Lotta's camera has a thing in it, we've got the article that was presumably in that, we've got the map of the crime scene, the guitar. There is some water, but only on top of the lid. Oh, that's probably going to play into it. Because in the picture, the guitar case is open. But that would mean that it was opened after the... that would mean that it's probably opened after the struggle took place. Because everything else is spilt over. Except for this, which is just sitting on the table. Found next to the victim, it's filled with tomato juice. No sign that it's been drank. Yeah, so, like, if you look here, this was clearly closed because the inside is not wet and the like sides of it are wet. Clearly the vase like fell on it or something. That seems to make sense. Yeah, I feel like we're going to be talking about this yeah, and those are unrelated for now. Alright, so I guess I'll start with pressing this, because this seems like the most obvious. What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night. Well, then, where was it? The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Corrida, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was out on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. So that guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel. Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with this case after all. The first order of business should be to gather more info from his testimony. But there might be a trap set up for us somewhere. Maybe. However, setting off traps is a part of a lawyer's job too. If you say so. Phoenix! You know that you should know that better than anyone. Of course, we're supposed to escape from them too, wouldn't you say? Alright, let's press everything then. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. The ceremony started at 6 PM. It ended around 8 PM, and then there was a short break. A special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later. And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period. Please continue with your testimony, detective. Oh, that voice. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yeah. Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about? She's the defendant, Matt Onguard's manager. She's a really pretty lady, sir. Oh, so she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she will grace us with her presence. How did you take that description? How did you hear that description and the only thing you took from that was pretty? She's the defendant's manager. Fuck. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. Onguard. After visiting his room, she next went to the victim's room to get him for the show, so... I see. And that's when she found the victim's body. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered. The cause of death... Wasn't that because Mr. Corrida was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Take a good, hard look at the crime photo. Now, a real pro's attention would be drawn here to this bandana. Oh. Banana. His bandana, sir? That's the thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir. Oh, yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana. Then what about the knife? Seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. We have a crafty murderer on our hands here. Interesting. Huh. Judge is horny on main. Well, I mean, well, also this game was written a long time ago, so... Yeah, take that for what you will. Huh. Because I'm pretty sure that knife came from, On Guard's room. Which would suggest some framing. It would make little sense for On Guard to murder Juan and then stab him in the chest with a knife afterward. That would only implicate himself. At first we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. And why did you think that? Because it was empty, pal. The Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime.
Oh. Then how about this theory? The fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that?
We thought of that too, but... The only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims. Really? Only the victims, huh?
I see. So much for my theory then.
So only the victim... Okay. So then... So the struggle happens, and then Juan, and then Juan opens the guitar case? What was he looking for?
I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why, then, did the police arrest Matt On Guard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing. Very well. Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter.
Yes, sir. Why arrest On Guard? Matt On Guard and Juan Carrito were huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. It was ripped off of the ninja's costume and was found in Mr. On Guard's Hakana. How are you finding this game compared to the first? Oh, that's a good question. I haven't really thought about that much. Hang on, let me get through this and then I'll talk about it. Because I want to pay attention to this the first time around. It's found in Mr. On Guard's Hakana. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant brought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. Yeah, so why stab him after he's dead then?
So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing.
It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. Bears the victim's blood and On Guard's fingerprints. In the grip, Gatewater is engraved. Oh, the hotel. And here, there's this button.
That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And is this button also covered in blood?
Yes, and we know that the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? Jammin' Ninja's button was ripped from his costume. It is covered in Kurita's blood, found in On Guard's Hakama.
Oh, this print points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it?
Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, right? I'll find the hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you'd like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, so how am I finding this compared to the first? So my reference for, like, a lot of these games really comes from Danganronpa, because that's the game of this sort of genre that I played first. It definitely feels like this game was a step up in a similar way that Danganronpa 2 was to Danganronpa 1, where it doesn't start off more complicated than the last case, but it starts off more complicated than the first, if that makes sense. So the first cases between the two, the second game is a bit harder. The writing has also... the writing's still kind of the same. The mysteries are more complex, which obviously I really appreciate. But some of the stuff that grinds me about some of the writing is still there. I'm still really enjoying it. But yeah, it is very much like a direct sequel with more complicated stuff. Like, if it had problems before, it probably still has those problems now. I do like the addition of the psyche locks too, though. They present a little bit more interesting stuff into the investigation, and you have to form... it forces you to form thoughts before you actually enter the trial as well. Which, again, is something I kind of appreciate. Having to stop and really think about what's going on is good for two reasons. First off, it makes the player more engaged with it, and they get into that kind of rhythm a bit... Sorry. They get into the habit of doing that a bit more, but it also means you can stop, make the player realize something, and then move on, which means you can actually create more complicated cases because you assume that past a certain point, the player gets that X is a fact, right? Yeah, so I'm really enjoying it. It was a long way of saying that, but yeah. Matt Onguard and Juan Corrida were huge rivals with each other. In terms of popularity, Mr. Onguard won, did he not? Yeah, but you know what's ironic, pal? Juan Corrida was always one step behind Mr. Onguard and everything. This year it seemed like he'd finally caught up, ready for the big final showdown. But Mr. Corrida lost the Grand Prix in the end. That is too bad. He must have been pretty downhearted after losing. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. Wait just 1 second here. Mr. Onguard was beating Mr. Corrida in the popularity polls. Well, yeah, I guess, but... Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill at all. I wouldn't say none, but it's a... Yeah, like, that's worth pointing out. It's like, well, there could have still been motive, but it's not like he was, like, jilted because he lost. Like, he was actually winning. Like, there'd have to be something else to this. Yes, I quite agree. Well, Detective? It's not... Well... I guess if you put it that way, then yeah, the defendant would have had no motive. Detective, I'm beginning to see why you were fired. Oof. No, not you too. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. That's... I look forward to your pension negotiations. Edgeworth, you were coming back, and you were looking fucking great. This does not endear me more to you. Holy fuck. No, Detective. Let's continue with the testimony. No, not my poor pension, too. Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed. Yes, sir. We can talk about my pension later, sir. What about what I was saying? Hello? Anyone? As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. Now, let's get more about this. Do you have any proof that the button belonged to the victim? That's dumb, Phoenix. Why would you say that? Huh? What do you mean, pal? Oh, let me put it this way. I'm asking you if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off of the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Huh? But can't you tell just by looking at it? And the victim's blood is on it. Anyone could have smeared that blood on there afterward. Mr. Edgeworth, help me, sir! Alright, I knew it had to be. It had to be this piece of evidence. Now to reel this one in. Thread. Huh? The button was attached to the costume by thread, obviously. And that thread snapped when the button was torn off.
If you match up the ends of the thread on the costume with the thread on the button, that's a perfect match. Yeah, that's it. They're a perfect match, pal. Ugh. That's Edgeworth for you. Never misses a beat. He was ripped off the ninja costume and was found in Mr. Onguard's Hakama. When was this button found? Pretty soon after the body was found. We rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Corrida. And then we did a search on them all. And that's when we found the button. So it was almost immediately after the murder. The police didn't have time to free time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people. Hey, what is he trying to say about me here? The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. How were the fingerprints arranged on the knife? Huh? What do you mean, pal? By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand? Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we didn't actually think of that. I can't believe the bumbling of this department. Hopeless. Are you paying attention to the testimony right? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There is no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder. So is the defendant the owner of this knife, then? That would be incorrect. Or the knife of the crime, which makes this premeditated murder. There is no way this was a premeditated murder, even if he bought the knife. Sorry, pal. This isn't some pocket knife. It doesn't fold, so it's not great for walking around with either. Well, this is not good. The prosecution can prove it was a premeditated murder. We're done for. Phoenix? Yes? There's something very interesting about what the detective said just now. Think carefully before it's too late. Grateful if the judge were more rash, he would have already pounded his gavel in closing. We're still in a world of trouble. Well, before any battle, you must find your enemy's weaknesses, so let's find the weakness in this testimony, no matter how small it may be. Okay, Phoenix? Okay, so the last statement, then? Alright, hang on. I'm gonna listen to read what he said again. There is no way this was a premeditated murder, even if you bought the knife. Sorry, pal. This isn't some pocket knife. It doesn't fold, so it's not great for walking around with either. It doesn't fold? Bears the victim's blood and Onguard's fingerprints. In the grip, Gatewater is engraved. The other thing I really miss, right here, is having the ability to have, having a log, like in other story-based games, and I'm sorry, but it's going to be the millionth reference to Danganronpa again. Just being able to look through the statements and not have to go through them again is really handy. Because I don't think I get what Mia's driving at. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. Wait, bought? I don't know if I need to be this picky, because this could easily be a translation issue, but he thinks the knife was bought, not brought? Actually, I'll press this one more time. Everything the detective says. This isn't some pocket knife. It doesn't fold, so it's not great for walking around with either. Oh, I got it. Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument that this was a premeditated murder is simply that... Is this weird to play compared to Danganronpa?
I've talked about that before. I'm gonna let this play out for a second, and then I'll get to that. But the short answer is kind of. My client bought a knife beforehand. And that's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a good look at the knife. Take a good look at the handle of this knife, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Huh? It has a gateway seal set into the handle. Oh, sorry, Gatewater, not Gateway. I think I've heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel? Uh-oh. He's like... Usually he's just like, oh yeah! But this time he was like... Oh, fuck. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. Well, it's not premeditated in that he had plans to kill him before he got to the hotel. I don't know what the limit is on premeditation, but... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? That knife was from his room. I bet that's what he's gonna do. I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough to not to realize this. I didn't know... Oh. Ouch. The question is... Where did this knife come from? Yeah, this is what I was saying. Wait, that's obvious. It came from the room, Mr. Cordera's room. The victim, Mr. Cordera's room. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. There's a knife and fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from? I had already surmised this, so I feel smart right now. But that's like a joy of these games. It's just like put something together, and then the game is like, ah, yes, let me explain what you just realized, except in a long way. If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt on guard. There is a missing knife, especially what is on top of his table. There's something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife? We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt On-Guard's knife was missing. Mr. On-Guard had gone to the victim's room with a knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. Seems like Edgeworth had this planned from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There's quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown? It means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. Shit, sorry. I got away from that statement too much because this just kept going. I think one of the big differences between playing, like, so in one way, playing Danganronpa after, playing this after Danganronpa, some of the conveniences aren't here. So things like a log, like, I feel like there was something else, but I can't recall for the life of me. So that's definitely weird. Like, it feels like a lot of games, even like games that aren't this genre, are getting into the habit of adding like a text log to see what dialogue has gone through in the last, like, 50 to 100 exchanges, which is really handy in a game like this, because like then you don't have to go through the cycles and stuff. So there's like a few things here and there like that are a bit of a pain, especially the world design in this game. It's really frustrating. Things don't connect exactly the way you'd expect them, and there's nothing like shaping your understanding of what should connect to where, so navigation sometimes feels rough. In terms of mysteries and stuff like that, this game actually makes you take a lot more leaps than Danganronpa. So Danganronpa does one big thing of gathering evidence, then one trial, that's it. You are presented with almost the entire set of evidence from start to finish. So when you enter the courtroom, or when you enter the class trial, you have a decent idea of the overview of what's happened. It's really the intricacies and nuances of like how all this stuff is put together that is then really the thing that gets examined. In this game, it's investigation, trial. So you don't always get a full picture of what's going on the first time. So what you're meant to be proving, first of all, is up for debate. Like, you've got to somehow imply that we need to investigate more. Is it because there's another potential perpetrator? Is it because the evidence is in question? There's a lot more varied goals trial to trial. Whereas in Danganronpa, it's just explain the entire case front to back. This game makes you also take a lot more leaps of logic. Danganronpa likes to really go step by step through every single argument and give you the opportunity to put it all together. Whereas this game will do some of that, and then at some points during the trials, it'll be like, okay, so what happened here? Or can you present evidence that disproves this? And it might be what would have been like 2 or 3 exchanges in Danganronpa away, but you can still make it. Something I do appreciate about this game, unfortunately, that also means that there's a lot of times where it doesn't direct you maybe as well as it could have, or sometimes you're just gonna not get it and then flounder, like the last case. But we don't talk about that anymore. So it is a bit weird. There's like the obvious like differences in design, like both from the perspective that this was released years and years before Danganronpa, and the fact that they approach this kind of investigation and trial system in different ways. I don't think it's weird. Like, obviously there's a few things here and there that get under my nerves, but I'm enjoying this just as much as Danganronpa, to be honest. New evidence.
What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright?
Well, Phoenix, the judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, that gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat. Which is why I'm going to save.
Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present this court?
See, like, this is one of these moments. Normally there'd be a few more steps before we get here in Danganronpa, but Ace Attorney is just like, no. Show something that, given the situation you're in, would be good to present right now. Although, I must admit that, it's not clear what's hasn't been presented to the court, but I guess it's implying what pieces of evidence have not been presented. Because all of the stuff here, I kind of assume the court has as evidence, it just hasn't been brought out in this case yet, if that makes sense. So I would think this is all the evidence the court is aware of, but there are obviously things like the wine glass that we haven't brought up. Because there's a couple of things here, right? Why is the case empty, but it doesn't have anything in it? That would suggest that the, whatever struggle happened, like, assuming someone didn't go over with, like, a glove or something like that and open the guitar case themselves. We're assuming here that Kurita opened this. When did he open it? He must have opened it after the struggle. So, what was he looking for? What was in the guitar case? Then there's the fact that there was just a wine glass full of tomato juice sitting on top of the dresser drawer that had the vase knocked off it. Why was that there? It must have been put there after the struggle. We don't know where exactly that, we don't know where exactly, we don't know when exactly, sorry, that got placed there. Could have been after the murder, could have been placed by Kurita himself. My guess would be one of these two. We've talked about the guitar case at some point, so I'm gonna say it's probably this. There's one. One piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see.
Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance, and only one.
What the judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's all curtains for all of us. That's the entire bar.
You may now present one and only one piece of evidence. Now then, what is this important evidence that you must show to the court?
Okay, no, it's done a fake out with me with this before, so I don't know if this is correct. Usually if the silence goes and the health bar moves, that's fine, but...
This is a wine glass, is it not?
Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. Okay, that's... yeah, no, we got it. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup all over the floor. These were all things that were, at one point, sitting on top of the dresser.
Well, yes, I see your point.
However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you all have to say?
Well, yes, it is a little peculiar.
Yes, isn't it? I thought it was.
You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth.
What is it, Your Honor?
Your opinion?
You don't need my opinion. Because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body. Oh, fuck, I didn't think of that. No, wait a minute. Do we have a... We don't have a picture of the rooms that we visited. Shit. Like, we've got a map, a bird's eye view map. I'm pretty sure that there wasn't tomato juice in Matt's room, but there was in Juan's.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. Well, that does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright. Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? I don't think there's a way. I appear weak here, the trial is over. Shit, I probably should have saved before I did that, but I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty. They just might fall for it, if you're thought-provoking enough. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. Turn the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? You're not thinking hard enough today, right? Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then... Of course it has been thoroughly inspected for fingerprints. Fingerprints? There are only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. Only one? Well, whose were they? Judge, They were not the victims, nor the defendants. Rather, there were of one Adrian Andrews. What? There's Andrew's fingerprints. That is why I said that the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? I can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Corrida. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and had set the glass down on the dresser. What you just said makes a lot of sense. Now do you see, right? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. I can actually. Where did she get the tomato juice from? I've thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover. The way he's talking is like this is like a shonen showdown, but it's just two of them in a fucking courtroom. That's great.
Wait a second. Mr. Edgeworth, I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict.
Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? Huh. Oh no. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Yeah. This is interesting. He's doing the Von Karma thing of like, no, I can make this even more perfect. But given his change in character, he's either actually correct, or he's trying to show us something. That may explain why he feels like confident to, I mean, this is basically a courtroom shonen battle manga. Yeah, no, that is true, but, like, it didn't really click for me, and I was like, oh god, that's literally what this is. Because if he was trying to lead us to a conclusion, to perhaps find the truth instead of going for the plea that we would like, or sorry, the verdict that we would like, it would make sense. It would suddenly explain why. It would explain why he's doing this, because if he could just get the verdict, he would have stopped. Old Edgeworth would have been calling for the gavel right now. But he's not. So, there must be something more going on here. At least in my opinion. Witness, your name and... Jesus Christ.
Gotcha!
I wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier. Oh, Edgy boy, it's been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that who knew that under that helmet it was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand? That's kind of rough, but also, I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today, I'm going to tell you anything and everything. Even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime.
Miss... Witness. That terrible crime is all this court needs to know.
Are you shooting the judge? Ugh. Wait, is she actually shooting something? Like, I thought she was just kind of doing that. Like, is everyone just going, Oh, maybe people are flinching because she's actually, like, drawing a gun in a courtroom. Yeah. Shush, I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps.
Yes, madam.
No, please, by all means, interrupt her. Please. Anyway, witness your testimony, please. It's true what they say that youth are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. I mean, you do mind when it comes to us. Now then, what should I start with? The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag? It was a great job being able to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle.
You mean you're a fan of the victim?
Look, everyone is crazy over that On Guard saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. I would love for On Guard to chime in right now and say what his actual catchphrase is. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Corrida. But those two were the same age. Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder. Leave it to me, Edgy Poo. Stoneface. What you witnessed. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was On Guard. Matt On Guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. Is this going to be another situation where someone was just wearing Matt's costume? Like, is that what this is going to turn into?
So Mr. On Guard came out from the victim's room.
See? It has to be him. He's the murderer. Yeah, Edgeworth's not convinced.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
I mean, there's an obvious thing to press here, but I'm going to press all of it anyway. I'm going to pace around this room. Miss Oldbag, what was your post on that night? The lobby. I was supposed to help set up the stage for that trifling show, but I refused to help, I'll have you know. It was for that Leadhead Samurai's show. I even took out a few of the nails. Wow. Maybe it was a good thing that the show didn't go on. Besides, that manager with the glasses seemed to be working hard at it without me, so I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little. And that's when you went to hang around the victim's door. It was something I was interested in finding out, you know. And that is... something you were interested in? And just what was that? It's not some little thing I can go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. Oh, and Edgy Poo, of course.
Mr. Edgeworth? What is this thing she was interested in?
I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? Should it prove relevant, we can always have it appended to her testimony later. Looks like we should enforce it right now.
And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time?
Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. Oh? Then would you tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Corrida's room?
I have no idea.
I wasn't born so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class. We weren't there. That's why ever since I turned 20, I quit keeping track of how old I really am.
Yes, well, that would explain why your age is not included in the report.
Oh my god, they actually referenced that! Oh, that's... that's fucking great. I'm pretty sure that was like this in the first game too, where it's just like blank age. And now that it's come to this, it's like, no, that's not just because she won't tell anyone. She doesn't actually know how old she is. Oh, that's fucking great. Oh, shit. I like stuff like that. It's like some little things that are just like tropey that then someone actually gives an in-universe explanation for. That's this game in particular, I think, has done this, but I think it's specifically because it's a sequel. Like, it has the ability to do that because it's had a game to build up like a set of things it's probably known for. But still, I won't miss an opportunity to call that very good and laugh at it.
In any case...
Oh, excuse me. Order. The witness then saw someone, correct? That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of it was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. Who in the world was that? I'm not allowed to say. This sort of information has to be carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny. The man that came out of Juan's room. It was... He was...
Yes, he was...
Ah, I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud. Oh, what I wouldn't give to have Francisca's whip right about now. Yeah, so much for that present. Well, I guess I could tell you since he was such a bad boy anyway. He was on guard. Matt on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. You saw my client. You sure about that? Yes, see. Really? Ah, annoying brat. When I say I saw someone, I saw that person. Uh-huh. Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into this a bit further. Person's face. Please tell the court about the man's face in more detail. You don't need me to tell you about his face. That soft, gentle look in his eyes and his effeminate lips. His right eye covered by his silky hair, his sparkling, shining teeth. His teeth were shining? Well, he's shining all around in this week's pin-up poster, dearie. This week's pin-up? Why do you... I mean, I don't care how he looks in this week's issue. Please stay with what you... Please stay with what you saw that night. What? Unguard's face is the same no matter where it is, you know. You whippersnapper.
So, Mr. Wright, is his testimony just now important or relevant in any way?
I mean, it's very important because it really sounds like Old Bag didn't actually see Matt's face. So, of course it was important, Your Honor. And perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important? You don't really have to put it that way to get me to say it. Say,
Mr. Wright, there is something much more valuable than a person's pride, and that is time. Please don't waste this court's precious time with worthless questions.
Yes, Your Honor. I think I just wasted his good favor. I'm sorry? But I don't think she's lying. That's bad for us. Really bad. But that's also that's how the human mind is. It also has that tendency to jump off topic. She stayed onto a few interesting straight onto a few interesting side topics this time too, hasn't she? But that's what makes her a sweet old lady, right? Sweet? It's because you're not the one who has to question her. Ugh. Alright, pressing this again. You saw my client, are you sure about that? Yesy, really? Yeah, shut up. Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Person's clothes. Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail. What a troublesome man you are. Really, as if something like that matters. But it does. Now what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing. What thing? That gaudy thing he's always wearing. That racing jacket. Ah, he was wearing that at the detention center too. That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men. Okay, let's not pretend that you're not a... Oh, hey, Dis, how's it going? Right.
So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now?
Yes it is. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Are we really doing this again? Then perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important. Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about that jacket be appended to her testimony.
I don't quite see where you're going with this, but alright. Witness, please.
Oh, well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must... Doing great, taking a break, eating before I get to continue a drawing. Oh, nice. Cool. Fuck, Yeah, because you take commissions, don't you? Yeah. Wait, isn't it like... oh, no, it's still like 1 o'clock, isn't it? Oh, man, my body clock is all over the place. I was about to say, like, isn't it, like, way past midnight for you? But no, it'd be, like... Well, I might be getting to that at the moment. Or it's, like, 8 o'clock or something. I think that's how time works. I'm awful with time zones. He's wearing his flashy racing jacket. Honestly, it's all just for show. Yep, I have a commission to shade that I have to wait a bit before I do it, and a sketch to clean up. You have to wait? Why exactly is that? Yeah. Miss Oldbag. What? Don't say my name for no reason. Do you know what this is? Ah, it's the button number 2 on the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance. Give it here, give it here. If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this. Ah yes, the ray gun. Wow. She really is a die-hard fan to want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. On-Guard's body during a full body search. See? See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was that rascal on guard. It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai hakama pants. See? See? And on guard is the nickel samurai. Witness. Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination, but just now, didn't you say that the defendant... Oh, thanks for the host, Charles. I appreciate that. Say that the defendant, Matt On Guard, was wearing his usual racing jacket? Ah. I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. If I wore the trendiest... Oh, no, there she goes. Okay. Not a chance. Holy fuck, that was a long one.
Now, hold your tongue still there for 1 second. So, what you saw in actuality was not Mr. On Guard the man? But Mr. On Guard the nickel samurai?
When you think about it. They're really one and the same anyway. I hate this witness so much. Like,
I kind of wish there was a twist to this, because, like, this was too obvious. It's like, ah, yes, this witness. Do you remember her? Do you remember what her problem was in the last case? Because that's a freebie. Miss Oldbag. This is a very important point we're talking about. Edgy Poo, do you think so too?
Well, it might be something worth considering.
Just say it's important and agree with me for a change.
Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify.
Alright, if you insist. I should be the one sighing, not you. Who I saw. On guard, on guard. Yes, now I remember. The Nickel Samurai. That's right, it was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. So he must have worn that Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. That really... Well, I draw Bara, which isn't exactly fun for the whole family. Ah. Fair enough. Commissioner Shade, riskier than what people ask, so I'm just working on a safer non-commission pick in the meantime. So I don't make my brother awkward. Also fair enough. Yeah, I do not envy artists who who are in unfortunate living circumstances and also doing not safe for work stuff. That must be that must be sweat inducing most of the time. Or incredibly awkward if you have to do it out in the open, which it sounds like you are, which, yeah. I enjoy doing not safe for work stuff, but I have some limits. Oh no, I mean, like, well, I was specifically talking about, like, having, being in a situation where, like, someone could just walk past and see that. Like, I imagine that's really fucking awkward to have to work around. Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume. What? Do you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy, thinking such rude things. But the possibility does exist. Ah, young'uns today. I told you, there's no way it was anyone else.
How do you know that?
Because I said so, and what I said is the truth. At least she's just as delightful a witness as she was a year ago.
Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Would you please get on with your testimony? What's your language, young man? What sort of tone is that to take with an elder? My youthfulness isn't what it used to be, so you should forgive me for everything. If you keep on barking at me like that, I'll start singing at the top of my lungs. What? Striking figure by the sea, standing all alone as he's the Nickel Samurai. She's actually singing. Someone help my poor ears.
Mr. Edgeworth, can you please do something about this racket?
Witness, I'll give you a piece of gum later if you'll be good and stick to just the facts. Okay. You promise, right?
Right. And I'll be sending the bill for the chewing gum to your office at a later date.
Remind me to send you a thank you note later too, Edgeworth, old chum. Nickel Samurai, that's it, right. It was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not? Not too long ago. And let me ask you this. When you were itty-bitty, what was your grand dream? Huh? What did you want to be when you grew up, whippersnapper? My dream, huh? Well, I, wanted to be Judge Wagner, hero of the public's court. So odd. See? And look at where you are now. You're not Judge Wagner, are you? Are you? What the fuck has that got to do with anything? Well, what I said earlier. Who puts any weight into things like that? The now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past. Oh my god, I hate this woman.
Since when did court become theatrics over testimonies? All that matters is that man was inside that costume. Isn't that enough? Yes, it would have been convenient for him to... I just got an achievement for that. What? Hold on. Excuse me? The fuck was that for? Just press that particular claim. Okay, that's... Sure. Shit. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. And why would that be? That way, no one could see his face, of course. Oh my god. You know how people say that, like... You know how people say that, like, something's so bad it's good because it, like, loops around or whatever, or something so bad that it, like, broke out the other side and came back to being good? This is, like, being so hypocritical in sorry. This is being, like, so much of a liar in everything you say that you've convinced yourself that you're telling the truth all the time. God, it's just, like... I contradicted the statement I made before. You just contradicted yourself. No, I didn't. Don't talk to me about the past. Fucking Jesus. But there's still no advantage for him that I can see. In fact, you would think the costume would make him stand out a little, all the more. You are such an annoying child, you know that? You disagree with everything I say. It's because everything you say is a lie. Isn't that what you're always doing to me? I got it. Maybe it was more troublesome for him to change in and out of his costume. Sure. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. Was there anyone else scheduled to appear at the post-ceremony show? Well, all the contestants were supposed to go on stage in a friendly gesture thing, and that included the Jammin' Ninja. Of course it included him. That's why when On Guard came out of Dear Juan's room, I didn't give it a second thought. I see. Well, anyway. So he must have worn that nickel samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. So let me ask you one last time. The person you saw, it was really the nickel samurai? Can't help but see her chest piece as an air conditioner. Yeah, it really does look like that. The other thing that really strikes me is that it's just like a gigantic tape recorder. Showy as ever. Haven't I been saying that from the very beginning? Can I throw in the towel yet? You don't need to think too hard on this one. Huh? There's a contradiction in her testimony and it's sitting in plain sight. The question is what that contradiction means for us. Well, I have to figure out what you're talking about first, but okay. I feel like that's got something to do with the arm. But I don't actually know if On Guard is right-handed, so... Whoop. One-shot star who's playing the Nickel Samurai is rivals with the Jammin' Ninja. She's wearing a hot plate. Yeah. An upside-down hot plate. Oh, that's good. An article from the tabloid. Guitar case, wine glass. Like, I feel like it'd be the photo, to be honest. Yes, now I remember. The Nickel Samurai, that's right, it was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. So he must have worn that costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. Oh. No. Do I just present the autopsy? No. Shit. The evidence clearly reveals the contradiction in that statement, Your Honor. How exactly are the evidence and... yeah. Ah, damn it. I'm a dummy. The only other thing I can think of is this. No. Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence. Oh, no, it's just the same. Wow, that was different dialogue. I actually got thrown for a loop there. The Nickel Samurai, that's right, it was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Why did I figure out the hard part and not the easy bit? Or, presumably. Nickel Samurai, that's right, it was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. So he must have worn that Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. Oh no. Am I getting stuck on the easy bit? This would be really embarrassing. I actually don't remember this part at all. I mean, the solutions. Not that I'd spoil it. Yeah, fair enough. I'm just like... I'm pretty sure it's this, right? He must have worn it when he was stabbing Juan. There are a couple of ways you could look at this. Oh, I guess stabbing posthumously, though, generally doesn't spray a lot of blood. So I presented that. We got given this, but this isn't relevant, and I've tried to show that. There's a crime scene photo, the wine glass, the guitar case, the map. I'm actually kind of stumped. On guard, yes, now I remember. The Nickel Samurai, that's right, it was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime. So he must have worn that Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. But I don't think I have anything to contradict this. Shit. Would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime. So he must have worn that costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. The person you saw, it really was the Nickel Samurai. As showy as ever. Yeah. Hell yeah. Is there anyone else scheduled to appear at the post-ceremony show? Well, all the contestants were supposed to go on stage in a friendly gesture thing, and that included the Jammin' Ninja? Of course it included him. That's why, when On Guard came out of Dear Juan's room, I didn't give it a second thought. I see. Right, because she's changed her tune from... She's not making any statements on Matt being the one wearing the Nickel Samurai's costume. She's now saying that this is what the Nickel Samurai was doing.
So it would be inappropriate for me to try and show that Matt wasn't in there now. Or imply that, like, obviously you couldn't have seen his face if he was wearing his fucking costume. The Nickel Samurai, that's right, it was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. Why would that be? That way no one could see his face, of course, but there's still no advantage for him that I can see. In fact, you would think the costume would make him stand out all the more. You're such an annoying child, you know that? You disagree with everything I say. Is that what you're doing with me? I got it. Maybe it was more troublesome for him to change in and out of his costume. He had to go to that post-ceremony show right afterward. Why is this giving me so much trouble? Seems like the Nickel Samurai is to confess something after the post-ceremony stage show. I think I get it now. Yeah, I'm at a loss. I'm not quite sure what I'm meant to be contradicting here. Okay, let's go through this again. She saw the Nickel Samurai. Like, I don't think I can make a statement about that. It would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. Now, that's kind of vague. I don't know if I can really make anything of that. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. Like, I feel like the show is the important part here. Like, what we have to... Like, basically what we have to... Like... like... Because I'm struggling to think of where else this piece of evidence would actually be relevant. You know? So, like, just from a process of elimination, I think this is the only relevant thing. I could just give that a try, honestly. Nah. Okay. I don't know why this is stumping me so hard. Holy shit. He must have worn the Nickel Samurai... He must have worn that Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. Is there any way we can contradict that? I already tried to do it with the photo. That's obviously not the case. That's completely irrelevant. That doesn't have anything to do with the crime... Or the crime scene, specifically him being in that room. We don't know what this has to do with crap right now. There's an article, there's the map. They both went back to their rooms, so there's like... I don't think there's anything to do with this that would... I mean, hell, On Guard even literally passes Kurita's room heading to the lobby. Fuck. Why am I struggling so much with this? Okay, so... Okay, this is where I'm going to ask for, like, a tiny bit of help here. So, at the moment, I'm thinking that it's one of these 3 statements. One of the last 3. Do you feel like I'm on the right track with that? I think so. Okay. So then, that means that... Oh, you think so. Okay, yeah. So... that means that there is some piece of evidence that contradicts, or there's something that contradicts one of these statements. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime. So he must have worn that nickel samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. Had to go to that post-ceremony stage. What did this say again? Seems like the Nickel Samurai is to confess something after the post-ceremony stage show. Found in On Guard's Hakama. You don't need to think too hard on this. There's a contradiction in her testimony and it's sitting in plain sight. The question is what that contradiction means for us. I have to figure out what you're talking about first, but okay. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime. Is it like... Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. Okay, you know what? Do you think it's this statement that I have to contradict? I may as well just ask that. Like, I feel like I have a piece of evidence that agrees with this. I don't think it's that one. Yeah, okay, alright, yeah. Because I have a piece of evidence that, like, explicitly agrees with that. So then... it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume, but I'm not 100% sure about what I'm saying. No, that's fine. I mean, you probably have a better idea than I do, because I have zero idea what I'm doing. Or what I'm meant to be proving here. It would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. Oh, hold on. No. Damn it. Like, convenient as in, oh, it would have hidden his face, but then, wait, he has, like, a literal mechanical arm. Like, I don't think that's the case. Yeah, I'm... Fuck, this is really frustrating. Would it have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder?
Is there anything we have that would contradict that he was wearing the costume when he was stabbing Juan?
I've got nothing. Dis, what do you think it is? I want to hear your theory. Because I'm actually at a loss here. I'm unsure between two facts. Well, I mean, I'm willing to hear anything, because otherwise I'm going to sit here for ages. One could be, wouldn't on guard killing him in the costume mean there'd be blood in the costume? Right. I mean, that's what I was talking about, but the problem is I don't think I have a piece of evidence to show that that's the case. Like, I don't know how I would... The other is they're in bad terms, and that's well known, so one of the things she said didn't make sense. They're in bad... Oh. Yeah, she said that, but what, like... I guess these are more vague theories than actual directions, which, yeah, because I think it was this one that we pressed where she said that. Be a little more careful with your testimony. Racing jacket not too long ago. Huh? Oh no, that was that. Fuck. That was not the right one. Why would that be? Wait, which one was it? Oh. Scheduled to appear at the post-ceremony show? Well, yeah. German Ninja. Of course that included him. That's why when On Guard came out of Dear Juan's room, I didn't give it a second thought. No. I'm stumped. Like the problem with what you're saying, Diz, is that yes, that's something she said, but it's not something that's in this that I can directly contradict, and it wasn't brought into the set of things I can contradict either. So it must be one of these base statements, not any of the things she said afterward. Like, I guess, like, neither of those. I'm trying to remember. No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm like trying to make sure I understand why I feel that you're not correct with that. To make sure I'm not like missing something really dumb. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know? That's correct. Now you remember? Okay, don't tell me the answer. Which of the three that I've been talking about? So it's one of these. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear it. He had to go to the post-ceremony stage show, the last one. It is the last one. So he must have worn that nickel samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. Oh, sorry. I should really stop doing that into the mic. Weird. I thought I had something stuck between my teeth. Shouldn't be sucking at it though. Unlike this, in which I am sucking. I don't know. I don't think there's anything that... Like, unless he couldn't have left the fingerprints. But that's not the case. Like, Edgeworth already said that the fingerprints were all over it. Like, and it was on guard's knife. So, this can't be it. Oh, actually, no, hold on. This would prove that he wasn't. Oh, no, does it? I guess it depends on when they ate. Because one of the things you could make one of the observations you could make here is that On Guard actually did take off his costume because he was eating and left fingerprints on this. If he was in the costume, he wouldn't have left fingerprints on anything. Please take a look at this. Yeah, so, it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know it won't work. No, that's not my intention at all.
That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct?
Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to this case?
You don't even have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it.
Is that what you're driving at? That is exactly what I am driving at.
What are we driving at? And whose car are we driving?
If Mr. On Guard was really in the nickel samurai costume at the time of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. That's not true. Actually, he would have wiped all previous fingerprints on this knife right off. I don't know about that.
Oh, that's right. The nickel samurai wears gloves, doesn't he?
He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing. What? Why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon?
There is no way he would do something like that. However, there is one possibility. Let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as the Nickel Samurai. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show. Which is why he took his gloves off. But the murder still did take place. It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim. Yes, I've heard that before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory? So let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any problems with his theory? Can't see any real problems with this theory. If you let Edgeworth's theory stand, then give it another shot. Yeah. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing. Oh, no, that's not true. There is a contradiction. This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. OnGuard was the killer. If that's the case, I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent. Yeah, it's this. This knife. This was used by Mr. OnGuard at dinner. Yes, we did establish that. Which means that if my client was, in fact, the killer, then he brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Corrida. I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from supposition 1. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us.
Order! Order, I say. Order in the court. Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing?
I mean, it's to frame Matt, isn't it? Well, I mean, it could be both. But I think this was actually the intent. It's to frame my client, Mr. OnGuard, of course.
To frame? Aren't you forcing the interpretation? Aren't you forcing the interpretation? Oh, sorry. Bleh. Aren't you forcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one?
But we just established that the witness saw the Nickel Samurai in costume. And if that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. That's not true.
Witness?
Looks like I've made your life a tiny bit difficult, huh, Edgy Poo?
Witness, did you or did you not really see the Nickel Samurai?
Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but... Are you saying you mixed up Mr. OnGuard with the Nickel Samurai, his character on TV?
But I mean, I can't really do anything about that now.
Look, I was waiting around in front of their doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the Nickel Samurai, that's for sure. She wasn't waiting for the Nickel Samurai. Alright then. Who were you waiting around for then? That's top secret to anyone outside of security.
I have a feeling that you were waiting for Mr. Juan Corrida. Am I correct, witness?
The way you think. You're a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness.
Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of?
So Oldbag was waiting around in front of the victim's room. But it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Kurita. Maybe Phoenix. Maybe the old bag was waiting around for that person. It's who I think it is. I think Maya's hinting out. It's certainly possible. Miss Oldbag. You were waiting for this person to come out of the victim's room, weren't you? So it's neither of those two. It obviously isn't herself. It's gonna be no one. It's gonna be none of us. It's not gonna be Gumshoe. It's not gonna be Francisca or Edgeworth. It's not gonna be Powers. Could be Lotta. Not gonna be Celeste. Damn you, old bag, killing your idol and framing on guard. Yeah, right. Oh man, did Lotta's camera actually get confiscated by old bag instead of... I can't remember what... Fuck, I can't remember what Lotta had told us she was doing. So it's either got to be Andrews or Lotta. What are you talking about, Phoenix? She could have waited until the next century and this would never have appeared. Ouch, busted. Guess there's no fooling her.
You two, what do you think you're doing flirting in my courtroom?
We weren't doing anything like... honest. Well, back to the drawing board on this one. Fuck. I am very bad at this game sometimes. Well, it's gotta be Andrews then, right? Yep.
Who is this person?
This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. OnGuard's manager.
But why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room?
Seems as if this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor.
Oh, this is... Well, this is...
I see. Which seems to be really into the article, if it can be called such a thing.
This manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's...
Adrian Andrews, without a doubt. Without a doubt. The witness thought so as well. Looks like he found me out. Well, that's fine. I can throw away this whole sworn to confidentiality stuff then.
Witness, what in the world are you...
Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling. I got some information. Some very secret information from a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course.
But what for?
Oh, just for myself. Personal reasons and all that.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how will you proceed from here?
Oh. Voice. I really don't want to do this, however, I cannot simply let this point slide.
I see. Very well then. Witness, please testify about this secret information.
Get ready. This is going to take the wind out of you young'uns. I'm sure we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10-year-olds. That on-guard one is one evil man. He thought he could ruin Pork Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. Cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret, you got that? Nobody else but you and me know yet, okay? That's not true.
The defendant sent his manager... What a distasteful topic for this court. What? Nobody's above gossip.
And isn't there a saying, the truth is never pleasant?
Never heard that one before. Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person?
We have looked into this matter, and found that the truth the article proposes is, in fact, baseless gossip.
But should this be true, then this proves that the defendant did bear ill will towards the victim.
So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all.
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Be careful, your bag seems rather excited right now. That's right, On Guard is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth. Well, as the old saying goes, you've got to burn old bags with fire. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. References! Jesus. That On Guard is one evil, evil man. You can't say something like that without proof. That's just slander. But it's true. That woman was getting intimate with Paul Wan. Look, it says so right here, doesn't it? Manager to the Stars, Miss AA. But the name of the magazine this came from is Gossip Land. What? Are you saying that gossip is all just a pack of lies? Huh. What do you know? I suppose next you'll swear to me that the news is 100% truth. Honestly, Sonny, you can't discriminate between the news and gossip.
Yes, discrimination is bad, Mr. Wright.
What the fuck? Discriminate? When did I do anything like that? Anyway, On Guard will never get me to say touche. He thought he could ruin Port 1 by causing a huge scandal. A scandal? What do you mean by that? You're a dim-witted one, aren't you? I can't believe you don't know what a scandal is. Honestly, what are they teaching kids in middle school these days? No, I wasn't asking what the word scandal means. Even I know that much. Well, that On Guard thought he could own a monopoly on popularity. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. You don't have any proof that Mr. On Guard did any such thing. You must be suffering from shock, the shock of hearing the truth. And now, since you're in so much shock, you can't do anything right. You're right, I can't do anything, but boy, I do wish I could do something about you. Alrighty then, Sonny, show me what you've got. Can you show me proof that On Guard didn't bear any ill will towards Juan? No? I don't have anything to offer. See? Just as I thought. And you were lecturing me about saying things without proof. You're just giving me a free pass to say whatever I want, whenever I want, silly boy. Me and my big mouth. That's the way the cookie crumbles. For you, anyway. Cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. So, what do you mean by I took action? Like I already told you, I was lying in wait close to the crime scene. Once that slimy woman came out of Juan's room, I was going to capture her and teach her a good lesson, something you young'uns need.
You were going to teach her a good lesson?
I was going to make her eat the damaging beams of my ray gun. Like this. No, stop! Well, it was too bad that woman didn't come through the door that night. That's not true. Wait. What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over. Secret information that no one else knows yet? If that's true, then how do you know this secret information? Huh? Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it. It's a secret. Even you drilled a hole into my... Even if you drilled a hole into my brain, you'll never find out. How in the world did that old bag get such a secret piece of information? If you don't be a good girl and tell me where you got this secret information, you won't get to go home today. Edgy Poo, what are you doing? Help me! What do I have to do with this? Just Just do this for me. You'll get your reward. I don't want your reward, but you don't leave me much of a choice. The witness could have gotten her information from anywhere. It's even possible that it was spontaneously made up inside the witness's head. And he lectures me on reckless babbling.
As long as we don't know where this information came from, it's quite a waste of time to focus on this line of questioning.
Where did old bag get her inside information? It has to be something I can use to figure it out. Sounds like just another tidbit of gossip, doesn't it? But you can't just ignore it either. It makes your client look bad either way. God, it's getting late. I really need to eat. Well, I don't think I heard anything really out of the ordinary just now. There has to be something we can catch her on. Yeah, and when I find it, I'm going to press the heck out of it. Shit. Wait. What? Secret information. No. So no one else is supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Miss Oldbag? Why are you looking at me like that? Stop that! Witness. I hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire your secret information, isn't it? The investigative photographer, a lot of heart.
Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl.
She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself.
She reported such a thing?
On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her outrageous impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews. What? Outrageous ideas, you say? No. I mean, I said impressions. Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless? Ah, that's it. That's the note. Ah. No, you see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy.
And you are the one who took Miss Hart's note?
I'm a huge fan of Juan's, that's why. That infamous... Oh, hold on a sec. I have a phone call.
Alright, I'm back. Yeah, a friend of mine just called me. I haven't talked to her in a while, and was asking, like, hey, are you out walking on this road? I'm like, no. I'm, pretty sure I'm inside. But yeah, we got to talking just because we hadn't talked in ages, but then it's quarantine, so the fuck were we going to talk about? She's up to more interesting stuff anyway, being actually out of the house, so... anyway, what were we doing? Old Bag is a liar. Right. I remember now. That infamous puffy-haired whippersnapper. She's working with that evil On Guard. She said so herself. On guard, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Imagine Lotta saying that. Yeah, On Guard is... Oh, no, I wouldn't put it past her. Also, the music just cut out in a way that made me think, like, oh god, did my headphones just die? Edgy Poo, you believe me, don't you? Ugh. I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before. You really should have come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. Ooh, voice break. Again.
Well, it was only a piece of paper. I suppose we can overlook this just once.
She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? No. If I let up on her now, she'll get away. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Saving that again. Witness. You said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct? Stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper from the terrible lonely trash can, that's all. You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it. Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again? Miss Oldbag, I don't believe that the note is the only thing you stole that night. Miss Oldbag, that note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it?
A camera?
Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, my sweetie $1,600 camera disappeared on me.
Why,
witness! What is it, Gramps? If you have the note, then it is only logical that you have the camera too. Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for? Ah, that's... What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know. I still eat meals like you, fall in love, and borrow things from people.
I think your definition of borrow is a little off.
I saw that woman's business card, and that's when I noticed it said Slimebag Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of pictures she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things. And this is how we get the photos.
Bailiff, check this camera's photos. Hurry. We must examine them at once.
That's gonna be a break. No?
Well, Miss Edgeworth, what do we have?
There is only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case.
Please present it to the court. This is the Nickel Samurai.
See, I told you, that's the guy I saw. Let's bring this up real quick. Anything out of place? Well, I mean, I guess at this point we say he's wearing that person is wearing a mask. Fucking.
This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter.
Right after the murder.
What does this all mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
This photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. On Guard clearly stated that, at the time of the murder, he was still in his nickel samurai costume.
If that is the case, then this nickel samurai is...
the defendant.
How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? The court will consider them before we close.
Oof.
Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client?
If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. But if I raise an objection here and blow it, then I would put Maya's life in jeopardy. I can't make a mistake here. There is only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took, there's... there is something strange about that. There's something strange with this photo.
I knew this was coming, right. Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth?
I think we can all agree there is nothing strange with this photo. There is no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster.
Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright?
Anyway, please look at the photo one more time.
If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct?
Oh, Judge, yeah. Just let him be. Well, I have to find something wrong with this photo. Can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from, anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts?
Now then, let's hear your objection. What about this photo is strange?
That would be the decorations. The strange thing is somewhere around here, I think. Excuse me?
Somewhere? Around here?
I think? Am I seeing something you're all not?
Looks like there was no problem with it.
Excuse me?
The problem was with the brain of that lawyer, Your Honor.
Wait.
You are the one who let your chances...
Excuse me? Okay, hold on. This was taken right after the murder. Like, that's what we've said, right? This is not what was outside, This is not what's outside of Juan's room. Juan's room had all of the teddy bear shit. Was I meant to click on the door? Like, because this is the thing that should be different. Like, who gives a shit about the door? The other thing I could point to is the double doors here. Where's the... Oh no, there are double doors on either side, so... And that wouldn't make sense there. Like, Karita's room was filled with fucking teddy bears. And the whole front of it was awash in them.
Like, that should be it. He's coming out of his own room. I don't... Am I missing something here? Just gonna start clicking. It's this person here, of course.
You mean the Nickel Samurai? And what is wrong with that?
At the time of the murder, Mr. OnGuard was in his own room. Which means this Nickel Samurai is a... If you think that's all it takes, you should reconsider your choice of occupation. I think it's about time you retired. Okay, I'm confused now, because I'm 100% sure that it's the stuff around his door. I don't know what else would be wrong with this picture. Okay, yeah. No, I understand that. So, and like that's mostly me just like thinking out loud. So there is a problem with this picture, right? I guess I'll like just clarify that, because if not, then like I have to go back to a different save. There is, okay. Actually, hold on. What the fuck is this? I mean, I guess that could just be something blocking the lens. Like, okay, am I on the right track with assuming that this is the wrong door? Because it seemed to be implied that, this photo is damning because it shows him leaving Juan's room. But it looks like he's leaving his own room. Yeah, I want you to answer me. Like, well, okay, let me be very specific. My claim here is that this door is him leaving his room, and I think that is the thing that's wrong, despite what I've just clicked on. Is that correct? You're not wrong about that, but... That's what's... That's literally what's wrong with the picture. I don't get this. I mean, like, if I'm stabbing in the dark, right? You can't see his right hand for some reason. I don't know why that is. There's this thing here, which... Like, I'm sorry, but I can't get past the fact that this is his own door. That should be enough. Unless there's a specific detail about this that I need to pick out, but I would have thought clicking either here or on the door would have been enough. Like, okay, let me, again, be very specific. Am I correct, but I clicked on the wrong thing? What did they say about this photo again? I can't recall. I literally don't have a way to look back at that, I don't think. Was it right after the murder or sometime after the murder? Was it right after the murder or sometime after the murder? That hasn't been established. I think their claim was it was right after. I'm sorry, You didn't just click the wrong spot. Okay. So I was wrong about the thing that this... I was wrong about the thing that's strange in this photo. It's not just that he's walking out of that door. I don't know why that is, but if that's the case, then I have no fucking clue what else it wants me to... He's not carrying his trident. You can't see his right arm all that clearly. I don't know. Yeah, that's not... Do you want another tip? Yeah, I do. Like, I genuinely do not understand what I'm supposed to be doing here. I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts? I don't think that's complicated. He's coming out of the wrong door. Okay, sorry, Diz, but you're just asking me what the game is asking me. I don't know, I guess this thing here. No, it's not. Fucking surprise, surprise. Like, I suppose, like, it's also taken at an angle, But, like... You have evidence that contradicts something in this photo. The symbol on his head looks the same. I mean, there's not a tuft of hair there, but there is in the photo. I don't know if that's, like, close enough to a difference. Like, I'm assuming this is hair and that's hair, but there wasn't one on this side in the picture. I mean, there's like a teddy bear right here as well. I have a piece of evidence. Ripped from his costume. Well, I mean, his right hand is concealed, right? I don't think the knife not being in that... Like, the knife isn't in that photo? But you can't see his other hand. Like, that's not... Like, I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the one. I've lost the plot. What is it? I don't get it. What? Okay. No. Don't tell me the answer. What piece of evidence? What piece of evidence contradicts something in this photo? Oh, okay. I was really ready to call this game dumb, but that is actually... Well, I was gonna say the fact that the pants are dragging on the ground. And in the photo, they're not. You know what? I was dumb. That is very good. That is such a subtle detail that I couldn't bring myself away from the fact that it was like, oh, this was just before the, like, I'm pretty sure it said just after the murder or something. So I was expecting him to be walking out of the door. What are you pointing to? His ankles? If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't. And? What does that mean? The costume person in this photo could not have been Mr. On Guard. What is the meaning of this? I wonder if you would care to elaborate, with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama. His socks. You can see his socks. Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his hakama up just to walk.
I don't think that's the case, but... There is only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Alright, I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh? What is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. This is what I've been saying. I feel like he knows something. If I were to guess. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself. It's as if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack? And I haven't damaged his case at all?
Mr. Edgeworth, where does that leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt on guard, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless. I figured it would come to this.
What? Right. I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt on guard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who is the person wearing the nickel samurai costume? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah. Why is he so calm?
Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is the person in this photograph?
No, 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 no. 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 So it's either the victim, the defendant, or Andrews. I very much doubt it's going to be the victim, and it can't be the defendant. So,
Adrian Andrews?
if you want to know who that nickel samurai is, it is none other than this woman. And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short, and she can freely move in and out of Mr. Onguard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Onguard that night.
And how does that all add up?
It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Onguard's fingerprints all over it.
The knife that was used as a murder weapon.
Why don't you just say what it is you want, right? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Corrida. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime.
Order! 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 Looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, Your Honor.
The court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony.
Alright, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day. One more day? Ah! If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya...
Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow.
What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court.
Now then.
Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today. That was not the right way to go about this, right?
I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if she is not...
I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial.
But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development.
Unexpected development. I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. What do you mean by that? That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on.
What? Edgeworth is doing circles around fucking Phoenix right now. This is great.
What is the meaning of your statement, Miss Edgeworth? Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She's the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by that man. Somehow I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly. Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess. True revival, yeah.
So it's been almost 3 hours. Oof. Like, we did get sidetracked for a bit, but I feel like this still would have taken, like, a good bit over 2¼ hours. And if that's going to be the case, then that's going to be a good 5 hours. Which means that I wouldn't be finished until, like, 6 or something like that. Do I care, though? You know what? I'll quickly get my lunch ready, and I'll think about it over the lunch break, and then I'll decide whether or not I want to continue on. Because, like, what? No, if I want to play some 14 tonight, I probably shouldn't stream anymore. I probably should give myself a break. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that, actually. Because I'm probably going to do another FF14 stream tonight, so I don't really want to completely just stream for, like, 10 hours or something like that. So yeah, I'm going to take a break here. We're going to hold up here and continue this tomorrow. Yeah. Definitely feel like that 2 weeks is kind of making this go a bit longer than it should have. But, yeah. These things happen. Yeah, so I'm going to be on later with 14, more FF14 because I am not stopping. And then I'm going to do more of this tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to do 14 that night as well. Depends on how I feel. But, yeah. This was a good stream. It's a bit shorter than, sorry. it was a bit shorter in terms of progress than I would have liked. I really would have liked to get through both parts of this. Like, unless this next part is, like, really short, which I feel like it's not going to be, because there's, like, a lot of... And I don't know if Diz would actually be able to give me a decent idea of how long the next bit of the trial is. Because I feel like it'd be pretty... I feel like it would be pretty lengthy. I don't know how long it will be, but... Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, I might as well save it for tomorrow. Pretty sure there is only one witness. That would be pretty short. But it's already 3:30. Like, that's the problem. Like, it's already 3:30. By the time I eat lunch, it'll be like 4-ish. And then it'll be another 2 hours from there. No, I think I'm going to call it for today. I think I'd rather take the side of, like, giving myself downtime rather than... Like, if I muck up the stuff, then, you know, I can go late tomorrow and just not stream 14, but I'd rather stream 14 tonight, because I can stay up real late. So yeah. Never mind. I almost changed my mind and then I didn't. So, yeah, thank you for watching if you're watching live or on the VODs. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you next time. Maybe this afternoon.